18 kilometers west of Jaisalmer, in the arid expanse of the Thar Desert, sits a pristine, roofless grid of over 400 yellow sandstone buildings. This is Kuldhara. If you look this place up online, you will find a very specific viral story. The claim is that in 1825, the residents of Kuldhara and 84 surrounding villages were struck by a terrifying death curse, and they all fled in a single night. Modern ghost hunting shows treat this site as a supernatural gold mine. They repeat local lore that departing families left hot meals sitting on their tables, locked their doors, and simply vanished into the desert wind, leaving a fatal hex on anyone who tries to sleep here. We love a good ghost story, but compressing this history into a paranormal vanishing act erases a much more impressive, heavily documented reality. Auditing the physical ruins and 19th century census data replaces the mystery with something more substantial, a documented record of coordinated human resistance. Let's start with the physical evidence. When the Archaeological Survey of India excavates Kuldhara's homes today, they find a very specific pattern of artifacts. The ruins are full of heavy, immovable domestic infrastructure. There are giant stone grain grinders, carved wall niches, and built-in underground water cisterns known as tankas. This diagram compares what remains with what is missing. Notice there is zero gold, coinage, or iron farming tools. You don't leave vital iron tools behind if running in panic. Their systematic absence proves the residents had time to pack for a planned journey. Archaeologists have also found zero skeletal remains or weapon trauma. The physical record shows an organized and calculated departure, not a massacre. The timeline of this departure has also been distorted. British colonial officer James Todd visited this region in 1815 and documented that the village was already half empty. The exodus was a phased migration that took over a decade, not a single midnight hour. This animated cross-section shows the first major stressor, environmental collapse. A 19th century earthquake shifted the local river basin. The groundwater table dropped well beneath the arable root zone, destroying the earthen check dams the villagers used to grow crops. At the exact same time, the princely state of Jaisalmer was suffering an economic crisis. The Prime Minister, Diwan Salim Singh, initiated a campaign of severe predatory taxation against the wealthy farming class, enforcing his levies with physical torture and military threats. Facing extortion and state-sanctioned violence, the local leadership reached a breaking point. They sent word to the chiefs of all 84 regional settlements and convened a secret Grand Council. The council opted for non-violent resistance. Rather than staging an armed rebellion against the state's cavalry, they chose mass civil desertion. Over the course of months, thousands of families loaded their portable wealth, trade ledgers, and livestock onto camel caravans, slipping away along unpatrolled desert trails toward neighboring kingdoms. By withdrawing their labor and migrating, they weaponized their absence, intentionally bankrupting the state's tax base. Once the residents were gone, the town took on its skeletal appearance for a very mundane reason. Nomads and scavengers stripped the valuable wooden roof beams. Without support, the ceilings collapsed inward, but the heavy, dry stone masonry walls remained standing. Because those walls form perfect geometric grids, the harsh desert winds funnel through the empty windows and underground cisterns. This creates a low, resonant whistling that sounds remarkably like distant human whisters. And the town wasn't entirely empty immediately after the evacuation. The 1890 Imperial Census of India recorded a residual population of 37 caretakers and graziers still living on the periphery of the ruins. As for the tens of thousands of people who supposedly vanished into thin air, they didn't disappear. Archival genealogical records trace their migration directly into neighboring states like Jodhpur and Madhya Pradesh. The rulers there welcomed them with tax exemptions, allowing the community to leverage their agricultural expertise and build thriving new settlements. These families were strategic economic refugees, navigating political extortion with the same precision they used to engineer the desert. Kuldhara remains as evidence of a community that defeated a tyrant by refusing to participate in his system, leaving their oppressor to rule over nothing but empty sand.